Every world believes it will last forever. This animal was wrong. April 1999. High in the Spanish Pyrenees, in the wet snow above the Ordesa Valley, a wildlife veterinarian named Alberto Fernandez Arias knelt over a tranquilized animal and worked fast against the cold. She was a wild goat, heavy, gray-brown, 13 years old, the ridged curve of her horns worn smooth by a long life on the rock. He fitted her with a radio collar. Then he cut 2 small pieces of skin, one from her left ear and one from her flank, and sealed them away. He let her go and watched her climb back into the white. He did not yet know that the slivers of skin in his hand would one day make this animal the only creature in history to go extinct twice. The animal was a Bucardo, the Pyrenean ibex, one of 4 kinds of wild goat that once moved across the mountains of Iberia. For thousands of years, the Bucardo owned the high cliffs of the Pyrenees, picking its way along ledges no predator could follow, growing a thick winter coat against the wind that came screaming down from the peaks. Hunters had known it since at least the 14th century. It was a creature of altitude and distance, built for a world of stone and snow, and for most of its history, there were simply enough of them that no one thought to count. Then the counting began, and the numbers only fell. Through the 19th century, the Bucardo became a trophy, its great ribbed horns prized above fireplaces, and rifles did in decades what wolves had not done in millennia. Domestic goats and cattle crowded its pastures and carried disease up the slopes. By 1900, fewer than 100 Bucardo were left. After 1910, the number never again rose above 40, and the whole subspecies drew back into a single refuge, the Ordesa Valley in the province of Huesca. An animal that had ranged across an entire mountain chain now fit inside one national park, and then inside one body. By the late 1990s, the Bucardo had narrowed to a few aging animals, and then to one. Her keepers named her Celia. She was the last, not the last of a herd, but the last of her entire kind, a single individual carrying a bloodline tens of thousands of years old. Conservationists tried to plan around her and found there was nothing to plan. No mate, no backup population, no second valley holding a secret few. There was only Celia, climbing the same gray rock her ancestors had climbed, alone in a way no animal is meant to be. On the morning of January 6, 2000, rangers found her in the snow, crushed beneath a fallen tree. Her radio collar had gone silent in the night. With her death, the Bucardo was gone. 14,000 years of mountain adaptation ended by a single trunk giving way in a storm. The subspecies was declared extinct. It should have been the end of the story, the same quiet ending every vanished animal is granted. A date, a last specimen, a line in a registry. But the Bucardo had left something behind, sealed in a steel tank of liquid nitrogen at minus 196 degrees. Those frozen flakes of skin became the most ambitious experiment in the history of extinction. In the years after Celia's death, Fernandez Arias joined the Spanish biologist José Folk and a team from Spain, France, and Belgium who proposed something no one had ever done, to bring an extinct animal back to life. They used the method that had made Dolly the sheep, somatic cell nuclear transfer. They took egg cells from domestic goats, emptied each one of its own nucleus, and slipped inside it a nucleus drawn from Celia's preserved skin. A jolt of electric current in the borrowed eggs began impossibly to divide. What followed was a long war of attrition against biology. The reconstructed embryos were placed in surrogate mothers, domestic goats and goat ibex hybrids, standing in for a species that no longer existed. Of 57 surrogates implanted, only 7 became pregnant. 6 of those 7 pregnancies failed before term. Through 2003, the team watched their revived Bucardo dwindle, embryo by embryo, until a single pregnancy remained. One surrogate on a research farm in Aragon, carrying the only Bucardo conceived in the 21st century. On July 30th, 2003, they delivered her by cesarean section. The kid was a female, fully formed, genetically identical to Celia. The first animal ever born from an extinct subspecies, the first creature carried back across the line that is supposed to be final. The veterinarians in the room watched her take a breath. For a moment, against every rule that governs how a species ends, the Bucardo existed again. She lived only a few minutes, 7 by the accounts of those who held her. Something was wrong with her lungs. One was solid and misshapen, swollen with an extra lobe that would not fill with air. The team could not save her, and so the Bucardo went extinct a second time, in the space of a single morning, on an operating table instead of a mountainside. The only animal in history to be lost twice had been alive for the length of one breath held too long. The world did not know what to call what had happened. Some hailed it as the dawn of de-extinction, proof that the freezer could undo the rifle and the falling tree, that no loss need be permanent again. Others were unsettled and remained so. A creature had been engineered into being only to suffocate within minutes. Critics asked whether resurrecting one animal with no herd, no secured habitat, and no possible mate was science or only a kind of spectacle. The Bucardo had become an argument as much as an animal. Yet Celia is not entirely gone. Her cells are still there in the cold, still viable, still holding the complete instructions for a Pyrenean ibex. The experiment she made possible reshaped a whole field of science. Nearly every later effort to revive a vanished species traces back to a goat on a Spanish mountain and a veterinarian who thought to save a sliver of her before she fell. Her closest living cousins still graze the Iberian ranges. One day her frozen nucleus may yet find a living line to rejoin. The last of her kind became, against all expectation, a beginning. We learned how to bring a world back before we ever learned how to keep one. Some worlds end in fire. This one ended twice, once on a mountain, once under surgical light, and proved that even the last word may not be final. Another world remembered. Walk the next one with me.